So I have the honor of introducing our speakers this morning. We have a tradition at Unity of Charlottesville where we hand the mics over to our high school youth group every fall and give them the opportunity to share with us about their experience, their spiritual journeys. This year, of course, we are needing to do it a little differently. So the last time that we were all together in person was back in March, like is true for so many of us, but for the Y.O.U.ers, which is our high school youth group, it was at our annual fundraising extravaganza where we had our chili cook-off and our talent show. We were raising money for the upcoming year of youth ed programs. And then right after that is when, everything changed in the world. So it had been a long time since we had been together in person, but that all changed last Sunday afternoon when 6 of our high schoolers gathered on the Unity of Charlottesville Labyrinth to record the following message for the Unity of Charlottesville community. And it is my pleasure to share it with you all now. So here we are on the Unity of Charlottesville Labyrinth with our Y.O.U.ers and Reverend Don. And we are talking about how COVID has affected our lives. And so we're going to start the conversation with just asking the question of what have been the challenges for you with COVID? I know it's been a challenging time for lots of people.
Challenges that COVID has introduced is feeling like my opinion is unwelcome and critically judged. Whether I am talking with people who are more concerned or less concerned about the virus than I am, I feel that my opinion will be brutally picked apart.
Thanks, Serenity. Yeah, I imagine that it's challenging to feel like you can be honest about what's true for you if you're concerned about like your truth being met with criticism. Yeah. Thanks.
I sort of similar to that. I feel a lot of sort of irrational worry around COVID-19 and like my family getting sick or myself passing it on to others. And so it's just sort of been hard to communicate why I feel the way that I do. Like maybe like there's not a huge concrete difference between standing 6 feet away from someone and 8 feet away, but in my mind it feels like there is, that I would be significantly safer if I step 2 feet back. And it's just sort of hard to find a way to explain that logically when it's maybe not completely logical. But still like honoring that that's how I feel and that it's okay that I take the steps I need to make myself feel more comfortable.
Thanks, Sarah.
Another big challenge is starting off senior year this way. I did not think I'd be doing this way, and I think a lot of us did not think that school would be starting this way. But I'd rather be safe than sick. And starting the whole college application process is a huge one. And not being able to get all the support that I would get normally if I was in school. One more, just not being able to feel like I'm completely worthy all the time. I think that's more of an internal struggle. Being alone sometimes brings out more of my anxiety and stress that is there, but it tends to rear its ugly head more often because I'm alone by myself. That's been a really big internal struggle for me.
Yeah, like in the past, especially, well, in my freshman and sophomore years of high school, I would keep myself continually come to an abrupt stop in March was really hard for me to just suddenly have to have time with myself to feel and process things after repressing all of that for several months was really difficult, because that it's just, yeah, there's just, I went from doing everything to doing nothing. And so then I, as well as like feeling all the things that I had repressed for months, I was also feeling a sense of just, since I'm not doing anything, I must have no worth. And so it's just been like kind of difficult to remind myself that I don't have to be doing things all the time to be valuable and to be allowed to exist.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so let's take these challenges that we've just talked about, and what are some of the ways that you have grown to meet those challenges, like with all the time that you have with yourself, and noticing the challenges of that. What have you done to not go crazy? what have you found really helps when in those times of anxiety or stress or feelings of unworthiness?
I've been reading a lot of books, but being able to escape into a new reality that is not this one. I'm reading like a lot of Sherlock books, so I've been going to London every day, so it's pretty great. And getting exercise more, taking out the dog for a walk at least once a day or twice a day if I can. Our new school schedule has like 15-minute breaks in between our long classes, so just being able to get up and stretch and move feels really good. And talking to people, actually talking to God and people for support during this time. Just one time I was completely just like, I could not get to sleep. I was just sitting there, and then I just started talking like in a whisper, and I just started talking to God, and all of the stuff that was on my chest just kind of like evaporated. And I was like, man, I need to start doing this more. To just really like say, oh, okay, this is what's going on, but yet there is a higher power or someone to support me.
I have become better, I think, at setting boundaries, like out of necessity to set boundaries. Because, like, if I, for instance, I went to a birthday party once, and the people there were not. I had thought that they were going to be socially distanced and wearing masks, but they were not. And so I did what I was comfortable with, which was, stepping far away from the group. And they were like, "Sarah, come closer, come eat this communal pizza." And I was like, "No, I'm not comfortable with that. Thank you." And I think that that's just like a new skill. I'm like getting better at setting boundaries for myself, and that will be something that I'll carry with me after COVID and can use in other situations. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Virus has taught me to be more confident in my opinions and not worry as much about what other people will think of me. In the early part of the lockdown, I was very worried about what other people would think of my opinions and how I'm responding to the virus, whether that means wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, trying really hard to keep social distancing, or stepping slightly closer because both people are wearing masks and I can't understand the word that the other person is saying. I've learned to just do what I'm comfortable with, and if the first people that I'm interacting with are not comfortable with that, they'll say something about that.
Thanks, Guy.
I don't know if this is necessarily what you mean, but I would say art. Art has definitely been a release for me during these like interesting times. I've done a lot of canvas work. I've done a lot of spray paint hydro work. I've done a lot of graphic design stuff. I've done a lot with art recently, which is really cool. I've been enjoying it. I have some cool stuff running around my room now. Like I turned my Xbox controller into like an art piece. Basically, I took all the parts off and hydro dipped them, and so yeah, it was really cool. I'm still doing that. It's more of a peaceful thing for me. So like say right after school or somebody's not making me feel the best, I just go outside and do that. It's a lot of fun.
One thing that when I was in public school, I would try to learn stuff just kind of to get a good grade on a test. But now that I have more time to like teach myself and stuff, I've just been learning stuff to enjoy learning and actually know it rather than memorize it. And like before, I would just try and cram in time to play an instrument and just practice whatever, but now I'm taking more time to like try and learn new stuff rather than just drill in things because I have to.
I may feel that life has been put on hold, and I feel like I just want this to end so I can get back to my life. And I realize that this challenge, like these challenges, and it's all about learning from them. It's sort of like doing an intensive course where you get to learn many things about spirituality, social situations, and so much more. So.
My question is, from where I'm sitting, the adults are having the same issues, the same feelings, same thoughts, same anxieties, same fears, all that stuff. I'm curious to know where you find your hope and your faith through all of this. What gives you hope? What gives you courage to just kind of keep on keeping on? Where do you find that?
For me, it's nice to remember that I'm 16, so I don't have to have everything figured out, and then I'll continue to grow my whole life, and I don't have to be a perfect person right now to be okay and worthy of love. Like, I'm growing, and I will always be growing, and as long as I recognize my mistakes and I'm willing to grow from them, I'm not a horrible person just because I don't do everything right.
Actually, I talked to Kate a month ago, and just talking to her just was like, wow. It's just I needed it,
And what was it about? I mean, not about me specifically, but like what did you get from that?
I got from that, feeling that I am worthy of someone's time. Even though they might have to take out 15, 20 minutes of their day, they're making that decision to say, I'm going to give this person some time and energy, and say, okay, I'm going to go down within too, and say, okay, I'm going to go into this space to allow this person to open up, and I will be vulnerable with them.
What I hear in that, Christina, is like, and just listening to what we've been saying today, that there can be a feeling of like floating off in space alone. Like, I imagine just an astronaut who's somehow been ejected from a spacecraft, just like drifting in space, and that connecting with somebody directly is a way of remembering, like, we're all in this together. I'm not alone. I have points of contact.
Yeah. And for more of a spiritual, I think talking for me is more of a spiritual thing. I know spirituality can come in many different forms, but especially being able to talk to Kate, is taking that moment, and I know she will hold this sacred space with me. And I think that's what really just is like, oh, I am worthy. I know I've said that thousands of times, but
you can't say it too much.
But that was just kind of really keeping the hope and faith.
What inspired and revitalized by human kindness, whether it is a friend or someone I run into at the grocery store, or even just a random person smiling at me. It makes me feel welcome and loved, and it makes my whole day. So I'm also trying to be more outgoing, act extra kind, and hopefully I can make that difference for someone else too.
I've been doing things that I did as a child, like returning to books that I read as a child, or just doing things that are familiar to me, and that really like helps me feel better. It helps me ground myself, and it does like help me have more hope, because I can remember a time when things felt like static and comfortable, and so just doing the things that I did when I was younger and remembering what it felt like and just finding the joy in that has really helped me.
I guess since I've been taking my dog on a lot of walks, just like being able to go out and see other people's yards and walk through the trees and feels more grounding with everything else and just seeing other people outside. And it kind of makes me realize that I'm really lucky that I get to live in a place like this. It's so awesome and so pretty and
My little rambunctious dog Rosie, she yeah, like on weekends I take care of her full time, and she just hangs out in my room, and yeah, it makes me like happy and playful and like myself because I am rambunctious, happy, and just sporadic, and my dog helps me feel that way. Because she'll just be laying on my bed, I'll be watching TV, and she'll just pounce on me and just start like going crazy for no reason, and I love it. Like some people would probably like tell them to stop or whatever. No, I love it. I will tackle her and fight her all day. It's just a lot of fun, and yeah, I don't know. It's something about Rosie that makes me happy and come to peace a little bit. Take my mind off of all the not so fun things right now, and yeah.
So, from the perspective that you all have through all of these experiences, and also just from your inner wisdom, what's your vision for how we can move forward through this experience, through these challenges together as individuals and also as a whole human society?
I'd say it's important that we acknowledge one another's humanity and have empathy for what other people are feeling, because in the end it hurts ourselves if we don't open our minds to other people. If we don't allow ourselves to try to understand what other people are feeling, we're just going to get stuck in believing that our beliefs are the only valid ones, and that will lead us to believe that everyone else is in some way wrong, when if we accept what other people have to say as their truth, then we can understand where everyone is coming from, and that will make our lives easier.
I believe that we need to be able to see things on a bigger picture and focus less on how things affect one person, one area, one country, about how things affect each other worldwide, and being able to help and generous and support people in other places and understand what other people are going through.
I believe that the most important next step for us to take regarding the virus is to disentangle the science of how it works and how it spreads from the politics. I've heard many Democratic politicians attacking the reports of the virus in a manner that seems to me they're not seriously considering the viewpoints and just attacking him because he's a Republican. I've also heard Republican politicians attacking Vice President Biden and Senator Sanders' reports on the virus in a manner that appears to me to be very similar. I believe that instead of automatically discounting people's viewpoints because they happen to be a Republican, Democrat, or a member of whatever other political party they happen to be a member of, we should look at the science of how coronavirus works and stay calm and rational.
My vision for the world and for our community is just to be more open with each other, open communication, and just being vulnerable with one another to make sure that we're all connected as one. And just being kind and just letting people just have what they need to have and just feel what they need to feel and just be gentle and accepting.
That calmness, kindness, and rationality will change this into a positive experience for humankind. Whether we are afraid or frustrated, staying calm and acting with kindness and understanding for all will help us stay interconnected and safe.
I believe that people need to stop being so like close-minded about COVID and other people in general. Like assumptions really need to get thrown out the window. Um, you know, judgment and stuff. Because yeah, I feel like this decade is kind of like the new wave for acceptance, and we really need to keep it that way. And yeah, and really start being more accepting of others and what they believe in, and just kind of accept who they are.
So, wow. Thank you so much to our Y.O.U for that brilliant and wise and vulnerable and just wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kate, for putting it together. Thanks to all our Y.O.U sponsors, Mark and Aisha and Buddy. What an incredible group. And thank you so much for sharing with us. What we'll do now is we'll have some music by our Y.O.Uers and Ty Carr playing piano. And then Ty will lead us in a meditation. So as we prepare for meditation, I invite you to join us in this song. Thanks.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary. Lord, teach the children to stop the fighting, start uniting, live as one, let's get together, love each forever, sanctuary.
Rest your eyes and take a moment to relax. Picture a challenging situation you are facing in your life right now. Notice all the emotions that arise with the situation. Watch these feelings gather, take shape, and evolve. Visualize them taking on the form of a storm. Meet each emotion with acceptance. This does not mean you have to act on them or won't be able to work with them. You are not your emotions. Tell them, I accept you as what you are. It is okay to feel you. Find your way through the swirling feelings and thoughts to the heart of your storm, a place of deep peace where your true nature dwells. From this new vantage, you can watch the storm without getting blown by it. From this place of unconditional love, become aware that you can choose how to act in this situation. Storms have many possibilities of action. Some provide gentle rain, refreshing plants, and sprouting seeds. Other storms send lightning and spark a fire, making room for new plants to grow. Some seeds actually need to be burned in order to sprout. There are also storms that create hurricane winds, clearing the land and carrying seeds to new places. Take your awareness back to the heart of the storm. Realize that this is your storm, and consider what difference you want to make in this situation, what change to make in the world. Trust yourself in the heart of your storm, that you will make a good decision from this place of calm. Now clarify your intentions for your storm. Watch it take the shape and actions you defined. Relax in peace and take satisfaction in knowing the course you guided your storm on will make a positive difference.